friends, in our time together today, I'm playing my Howard Low D and the Karavaev Nightingale Low D side by side for you to hear them. Earlier in the week, I introduced the Karavaev, and in that video, I said that from a price standpoint, the Karavaev Nightingale Low D and the Howard Low D were direct competitors from a price standpoint. Now, the real answer is go buy both. No, that's probably not doable for most of us. But it is nice to have more than one whistle because of the different sound profiles they bring to the table. They bring to your playing. They bring to your emotional expressiveness. Some whistles are more responsive than others, and so on and so forth. So these two whistles, while in the same price bracket, the Karavaev, like I said, around 160, just a little above that, today's exchange rate. The Howard you could pick up, like, depending upon the finish you get, 150 to 180, 190, depending upon the finish. This is the flat black, and so it's like maybe $10 cheaper than the Karavaev Nightingale. You could easily spend $20 more than the Karavaev for a Howard, depending upon how pretty you want your finish. And whether you order more than one head, because Howard lets you do that. And I'll put in the notes to this video where you could pick up each of these wonderful whistles. Now, the beauty of a comparison like this is what I just said. These are both wonderful whistles. I highly recommend either of these for an intermediate player or a beginner player. If you want a whistle that you're going to grow into and not spend money and buy a whistle to learn and then set it aside, either of these fit the bill. You will grow with these. Both of these whistles will teach you how to play, but both are different. And that's what I want to share with us today. And I'm trying not to use any technical terms that aren't going to make sense. So I don't want to describe tone too much. I want you to hear it. And my sound is just going through my microphone, and I'm not doing any post-processing with that. I never do. I just let you hear the sound. Good or bad as it is. So side by side, you're going to hear them both through the same microphone. I'd say the Karavaev, it probably blows more freely at the top than the Howard, but you need to learn to play each of these. So what I want to do is I'm going to play a scale on each, and then I'll play a couple of tunes that I think are that give good examples of the tone. So a scale starting at the bottom D on the Karavaev Nightingale. Okay, now I'm going to move to the Howard. Same scale. Just a couple of notes. The Howard, that was. Same on the Karavaev, assuming I remember what I just did. So they're both really nice. And some of the difference between these is the fact that the Karavaev Nightingale has an aluminum body. The Howard has a brass body. They bounce the sound waves a little differently. Traditionally, people say you get a warmer, more mellow tone out of brass and a slightly brighter tone out of aluminum. A cleaner, crisper, maybe. But so much of the tone is also dictated by the head and some other factors of the whistle. So you are going to hear some difference. The differences I'm sharing today are between these two whistles. I could play other aluminum whistles and you would notice some other differences because of some of those other factors like the head and the way it's made. But I want to share the tone differences of these two as I've started doing. So the first thing I want to do is play through the Dear Irish Boy just once through on each of these lovely whistles. Before I do that, a quick playing. I've been switching back and forth between these two whistles and they play differently, and so I mess up a little going from one to the other because you have to, you're required slightly different breath pressure. The Nightingale by Karavaev probably blows a little more freely, and I had to learn to play the second octave on the Howard, so it's difficult to tell. And the hole spacing, let me line these up so you could see that. I'm going to line the top holes. The holes on the Karavaev are slightly further apart. Line the bottom holes up. They're closer on the bottom, but the reach on the Karavaev Nightingale is a little longer than on the Howard. But they're reasonably close there. So, Dear Irish Boy on the Karavaev first. All right, Dear Irish Boy on the Nightingale by Karavaev. The same on my Howard. I may have to find the finger holes because remember I said they're slightly different. I play slower tunes because they give you a sense of the tone quality. I'll talk about responsiveness in a moment. I can lean into both of these whistles very well. I can play both expressively. You're hearing some of the tone differences. Some of them are subtle, both quite nicely resonant, but they're in their own way. I think I could play the Nightingale by Karavaev a little louder than Howard, though the Howard requires me to breathe less frequently because of the manner in which the head's constructed and the type of blower it is. So not as much what they call back pressure in the Karavaev, and therefore a little more air required. But that also enables you to learn the full range of the whistle faster. So anyway, that's that. What I want to do now is I'm going to just play through If I Was a Blackbird, because in If I Was a Blackbird, I'm going to play the version with the two sharps. I can play it. I can really lean into some loudness in the second octave, and I want you to hear some of that. Now, you can also play both of these fairly gently in the second octave. So I could probably be a little quieter on the Howard. So anyway, If I Was a Blackbird on the Nightingale by Karavaev. Just lovely to play. I'll now play through If I Was a Blackbird on the Howard. Also very lovely. My friends, two absolutely amazing whistles. The Nightingale by Karavaev and the Howard Low D. They each bring beautiful tone, great playability. They're both very responsive. I didn't play a faster tune. I'm more interested in you hearing the tone distinctions between them. Remember a couple of things. The Nightingale by Karavaev is a little more of an easy blower. You could probably play it a little louder, but you're going to use more air. The Howard doesn't use as much air, but that means you've got a little more breath pressure required, and you're going to have to learn to play the top of the second octave a little bit more. But the real distinction between these two is that tone quality difference that I hope you were able to hear. I'm doing my best to not use any words that are just going to confuse us on the difference between these two. You will need to learn to play both of them. A funny behind the scenes, well, I said you'll need to learn to play both. I don't mean they're hard to play. You can learn to play both of these much more quickly than some of the harder whistles to play, and they both will deliver great quality tone as I think you hear as I play them. A funny behind the scenes. With that slight difference in hole spacing and the slight difference in breath pressure, I had to stop and start the video quite a few times as I reacquainted myself with where my fingers should be between the two whistles. I love them both. And I think it's great, like I said earlier, to have two whistles, but that's not always in everybody's budget. But these two, they're great. I hope this is helpful. My friends, if this has been of benefit to you, please like the video. That tells YouTube that folks should hear about us. If you're looking for a community of folks learning to play the low D whistle together and you've not subscribed, please do so. We're just on an amazing journey together. Until next time, my friends, this is Scott Shade. Happy low D whistling.